we intend already to abandon mother tongue as a subject, which is a separate learning area in the curriculum. And we will simply use the mother tongue, which is already the vernacular of the community, the neighbors, and the family, as part of the medium of instruction, no longer as a subject to be offered from grade 1 to grade 3.
From the nation's capital, all sides, all the time, I'm Jess De Los Santos.
And I'm Riza Diaz. The big story tonight.
Now, public schools are expected to implement full face-to-face classes starting in November. But private schools may still continue with their blended learning modalities.
Now, aside from this, the DepEd is looking into removing the mother tongue language or subject in the K-12 curriculum. Camille Samonte with a big story.
Public schools are still expected to implement full in-person classes. This comes after the Education Department's Order Number 34 series of 2022. Exceptions to this order include schools authorized by the regional director, as well as classes that were canceled due to disasters and those using alternate delivery means. On the other hand, private schools will be allowed to keep using blended or total distance learning beyond November 2. DepEd amended its earlier order, requiring private schools to transition into full face-to-face classes. In a statement, the agency maintained its confidence in the benefits of holding face-to-face classes. DepEd likewise expressed hope that parents and guardians of private school students would not miss the abundance of scientific studies available. Meanwhile, the mother tongue subject may soon be removed in a bid to decongest the K-12 curriculum. That's according to DepEd Undersecretary Epimako Densing during a Senate hearing on Monday.
In the whole revision of the K-12 or K-3 curriculum, we will be freeing up 50 minutes of teaching the mother tongue as a subject and rechannel it to our national reading program and national math program.
Densing likewise assured that mother tongue will continue to be used as a medium of instruction in classrooms. He said the matter was still being finalized but discussed on a consensual basis.
We are ready to make that pivot, but in the meantime, since this is the mandate of the law, we will continuously use the mother tongue as part of the languages or medium of instruction in the K-3 program.
The DepEd has been undertaking a review of the basic education curriculum following the poor performance of Filipino students in international learning assessments. For News 5, Camille Samonte, We Are One News.
Now, to further explain the new DepEd order, we have with us on the line DepEd spokesperson Attorney Michael Poa. Good evening and welcome to the big story. Spokespoa, to begin with, why just private schools? Why are they afforded the privilege of extended blended learning, and why is that not afforded or at least given the same platform as well for public schools? What makes it different?
Yes, hi. Good evening, Sir Jess, Ma'am Riza. So let me just explain the whole thing. No? So we issued a mandatory DO today, amending DO 34. So you were asking why the treatment for public schools and why a different treatment for private schools. Tayo naman po kasi sa DepEd, we really are of the position, based on several studies, international studies, that in-person classes are really more advantageous for our learners, not just for academic performance or academic development, but also for mental health. So guided by those studies, talagang ang gusto po natin is in-person classes. That's why under DO 34, the plan was really a 5-day in-person class for all. Now, why did we decide to continue with the options in terms of the private schools? Tayo naman kasi sa DepEd, we are also cognizant, we are aware of the situation and the impact of COVID-19 and the pandemic on the private schools. We know that the private schools invested heavily to be able to adjust to distance or online learning. We have also seen them develop yung talagang framework for blended learning. They were able to really develop the strategies for blended learning. And also, we've seen a lot of the smaller private schools close in the recent weeks. Mm-hmm. And so, to give them that flexibility, we allowed them to continue with the said options. But at the same time, we are still encouraging them to have a look at the studies and see the advantages of in-person classes in terms of the learner's development.
Attorney, kamustahin lang po namin. So far, how was the implementation of this back to face-to-face classes? We've been getting reports that some students have been contracting the virus.
Well, yes. COVID, you're talking about COVID, ma'am.
Yes.
Of course, with COVID, we cannot naman deny that there have been reports of learners, teachers, non-teaching staff testing positive for COVID. It's no different to the situation we have in office settings, in malls, for example. So, yung tendency na magkaroon ng positive, nandyan po talaga yan. However, what we are doing right now is we are closely monitoring the situation, having our schools report all these cases to their LGUs so that verification and follow-ups may be done. And what we are trying to avoid here is a surge that will really exhaust the critical care systems that we have. But in terms of yung controlling COVID, of course, we have our minimum public health standards in place. We have issued the latest health guidelines on that, which includes wearing a face mask, ventilation, etc. All pursuant to the latest IATF and DOH guidelines.
And then, of course, we have this bit of issue about the possibility of removing the mother tongue as a subject in the curriculum. Isn't this going to be a bit counterproductive here for the agency? I mean, we do understand, like in the report earlier, you have Yusek Dancing saying, just have to look at the communities. It's actually being used as a vernacular. Why use it as part of the curriculum or whatnot? But at the same time, don't you see the need to actually use our mother tongue in order for us to better improve comprehending other subjects? So minsan yun yung difficulty ng mga bata when you try to use a different language in teaching whatever subject, whether it be math or science. Kaya din nahihirapan sila to actually cope up with the subject.
Yes, sir. We definitely appreciate the differing views on the mother tongue. In fact, and I apologize, because right now, the K-12 curriculum is still undergoing review. The K-10 curriculum is still undergoing consultations, meaning we are presenting them to our stakeholders across the country, whether it be academia or other private stakeholders. And so I would think it's actually premature for us to comment on what will be removed or what will be retained at the moment, because it's still undergoing consultations, and it will be best to probably speak about this once there's a final version na po.
Okay, definitely. We're going to ask you for updates on that one once that proceeds, of course. Thank you very much for your time this evening.
Of course, yes, no
DepEd
problem.
spokesperson, Attorney Michael Poa. Now, let's pause for a quick break. After that, we'll talk about the PNP conducting surprise visits to journalists' homes with NCRPO spokesperson Dexter Versola. That and more when the big story returns. Keep it here on One News.
environment, we are still very much in the Stone Age. I feel that that that's changing now. There's a huge interest in the blue economy that will provide great opportunities for investors, for coastal livelihoods, for food security, great opportunities for climate mitigation. If we focus and invest in developing those tools, if we don't, then we'll see the blue economy veer towards exploitation, deep sea mining, overfishing, and that will just accelerate its decline.
There's a huge opportunity for scalability, it sounds like.
You know, it's not just about philanthropy, it's about in tools that will make that future a better place to be.
Brazil's tense presidential contest could have far-reaching effects on climate policy. Incumbent Jair Bolsonaro and former President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva are headed into a runoff October 30th. During Bolsonaro's tenure, deforestation levels reached a 15-year high. In contrast, during Lula's 2 terms as president, Brazil cut deforestation in the Amazon by over 70%. This time around, he's incorporated environmental issues into his platform to an unprecedented degree.
You're watching the big story here on One News. Now, in a bid to protect journalists, some police personnel made surprise visits to homes of media workers to check in on their situation. But this move proved to do more harm than good, as it raised both privacy and security concerns. Mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro gives us a front seat to the story.
Following the death of radio commentator Percy Lapid, police officials vowed to take measures to ensure the safety of journalists. But instead of feeling safe, several journalists grew even more concerned of their safety and security, as some policemen made unannounced visits to their homes. The NCRPO has since apologized for the initiative.
Hindi na po itutuloy. At nagbigay po ng apology ang aming regional director na kung meron mang masamang sa iba ay masama po sa kanila yun. Na apology po from our regional director.
NCRPO spokesperson Colonel Dexter Versola explains, their intention was simply to check whether there are any threats to other media workers following the murder of Percy Lapid in his own home. 3 media personalities were reportedly visited by the police. These include JP Soriano of GMA and Adrian Ayalin of ABS-CBN. While the journalists say they appreciate the PNP's good intention, they admitted feeling alarmed over the move. On Twitter, Soriano said that aside from the fact that there was no prior notice, he also wondered how authorities were able to get the address of his private residence. For Soriano, this is a clear violation of the Data Privacy Act. But the police say they got the information by coordinating with the LGUs.
The good relationship between our local government unit, itong ating pong mga barangay, ay nakakatulong talaga sa pagbigay ng impormasyon sa ating mga kapulisan.
Another concern cited by the journalists is that these police personnel wore civilian clothes and used unmarked vehicles when they visited their homes. The National Union of Journalists in the Philippines said the right course of action would have been to coordinate with the news agencies to make the coordination with journalists more formal and productive. They added that online safety should also be a concern.
Much better na may makita tayo at maramdaman na naging matapang ang ating mga authorities sa mga online trolls. Mas makikita natin na concerned talaga sila sa ating security.
According to the Global Impunity Index of 2021, the Philippines is the 7th most dangerous country for journalists, citing the rampant online death threats against media workers and the 13 unsolved murder cases of journalists since 2011. Mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro, we are One News.
Now, to shed more light on the matter, we have with us on the show NCRPO spokesperson, Mr. Dexter Versola. He's joining us via Zoom. Sir, good evening. Welcome to the big story.
Good evening, Ma'am Riza and Sir Jester, and to our listeners tonight on the big story.
Sir, we'd like to know, again, regarding this PNP visits to journalists, with the absence of first coordination and then the alleged our officers not being in uniform, the unmarked vehicles. This was, this was seen as a threat more than perhaps the intention that, the office is saying. Do we know, or who ordered these visits exactly, sir?
Maybe, Risa, let me first give a brief background on the issue. NCRPO would like to clarify and explain that the issue surrounding the effort to reach out personalities derived from the incident that happened to Percy Mabasa. Thus, to prevent this incident from happening again, our Regional Director, Police Brigadier General Jonel C. Stomo, made the following orders. First is to intensify o plansita on motorcycles without plate numbers. And second is to reach out, engage, and kumustahin ang mga media friends if to check if there are any threats upon them pertaining their profession. And maybe from that information, we could do better security coverage for their safety. And after giving that instruction to our district directors, so they implemented this order, and from that order, they already coordinated with the different core of the media core. The media, they visited the National Press Club. Different press corps were invited to their meetings. And due to the different schedules of our friends from the media, some personalities were not able to attend this meeting. Thus, we deem it important also to look after the welfare of those who did not attend this meeting. Thus, we reach out. Kami na po yung nagpagandang loob na bisitahin yung ating mga kasamahan na media, because we consider the media as our friends. Katuwang namin kayo sa trabaho natin na public service. And doon nga po sa effort na yon ay nakita pa na it was viewed from a negative perspective. So sabi ng aming regional director ay to simply stop it and wag nang ituloy na yung pagbibisita. But again, I would like to also tell you, Ma'am Risa and Sir Jester, that some media personalities gave us a positive response on this effort.
Okay. I mean, given all of that, like what you mentioned, even some organizations are saying the intention is good, but then again, perceived to be as a form of threat as well for some journalists and on the side of other journalists. Thank you very much for your time this evening. Do give us updates as well as to how you are going to rectify this moving forward. Again, NCRPO spokesperson Dexter Versola.
Now for the big story in sports, the defending champions UP Fighting Maroons once again got the better of their Katipunan rivals, the Ateneo Blue Eagles. Meanwhile, Cherry Tigo found itself on top of the standings in the PVL Reinforced Conference after another convincing win. Gretchen Hall with the report.
Dungay from the corner gets it to go. Down to deal. The cunning Fortea.
Just a few months after their heated final series, the UP Fighting Maroons and the Ateneo Blue Eagles are back at it again. This time for round 1 of UAAP Season 85.
Mandarigao will launch one, and that will do it. UP bounces back.
After a sorry loss from the NU Bulldogs, the defending champions bounced back big time and defeated their Katipunan neighbors in overtime, 76-71. Reigning Rookie of the Year Carl Tamayo took charge for the Maroons, scoring 6 of his game-high 20 points in extra time. Add to that his 13 boards and 3 assists. The win also marked the return of Spitfire point guard JD Kagulangan, who missed UP's first 4 games due to a left hamstring injury. JD contributed 7 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 steals for the win.
Kagulangan for 3, and he gets it to go!
UP is now second in the standings, just behind NU, with an identical 4-1 win-loss record.
Manabat. that point to go.
Over in volleyball, the retooled Cherry Tigo continues its redemption tour in the PVL as they grab the lead in the reinforced conference. The crossovers defeated the Signal HV Spikers in 4 sets, 25-23, 20-25, 25-21, and 25-20. The balanced attacks of local stars such as Mylene Paat, EJ Laure, plus the late heroics of Russian reinforcement Helena Siviovich steered Cherry to their second straight win.
Strong serve, but
meanwhile, newcomers Akari Chargers notched their first win against the UAI-Army Lady Troopers in straight sets, 25-20, 25-22, and 25-22. The reinforcement and 3-time Olympian Pris Rivera led the way for the Chargers as she dropped a game-high 25 points, all from attacks. Former Ateneo standout Erica Raagas was likewise brilliant in her second professional game with 9 points.
High level of intensity ng kalaban, need pa namin more experience. So sana we continue to improve from here.
PVL resumes action tomorrow with UAI-Army versus F2 Logistics, both looking for their first win at 2:30 p.m. And it will be the Grand Slam-seeking Creamline Cool Smashers versus defending reinforced champions Petrogas Angels at 5:30 p.m. You can catch the games at One Sports, One Sports Plus, Smart Giga Play app, and the Signal Play app. Gretchen Hall, we are One News.
Still to come, we'll have a chat with Drag Race Philippines Season 1 winner, Precious Paula Nicole, and Miss Congeniality Lady Morgana. That and more when the big story returns. Keep it here on One News.
Well, that depends who you are. One of Netflix's great attractions compared to conventional linear television is that you don't get interrupted by a series of ads every 15 minutes or so. That's about to change. Not for everyone, but for anybody who doesn't want to pony up the $15 that a standard US subscription might cost, Netflix is going to roll out an ad-supported tier starting in 2023. It'll be cheaper, but you will have to stomach a few commercials every now and then. It is, of course, the model that used to support all media. Magazines, newspapers, radio, television, even your buses were partly subsidized by the ads that peppered them. Back in 2006, the New York Times was able to charge its subscribers an average of $534 a year, but it made an additional $1,064 a year from advertisers. In fact, it was able to keep its subscription fees broadly flat as ad prices increased. Those economics have largely been unpicked in the years since by the arrival of ad tech giants like Google and Facebook, who between them hoover up the lion's share of advertising spending. That has in turn heralded the arrival of subscription services such as Netflix, Disney Plus, and HBO Max as media companies seek new business models. But those companies come with their own problems. As long as they're dependent upon subscriptions alone, their growth potential is restricted by the number of subscribers they can attract and how much they can charge them. And both of those numbers are getting squeezed by the increasing pressure on people's wallets and mounting competition in online streaming as broadcasters pile into the space. In fact, Netflix lost almost 2 million subscribers in North America in the first 6 months of 2022 alone. Having an ad-supported tier may help solve both of those problems. It, of course, makes a subscription more affordable. Bloomberg News has reported that Netflix plans to charge $7 a month, about half as much as the standard subscription rate. That should attract more subscribers, or at the very least, reduce the hemorrhage of existing ones. It might also make it easier to make more money from each subscriber without having to increase the price of a subscription. Take Hulu, the streaming service controlled by Disney. It makes $6.
Newly crowned Drag Race Philippines winner Precious Paula Nicole will see her reign take her to DragCon UK early next year. Now here with us tonight is the Philippines' first drag superstar Precious Paula Nicole herself, as well as Drag Race Philippines Season 1 Miss Congeniality Lady Morgana. They're both joining us via Zoom this evening. Queens, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
All right, first of all, congratulations are in order for you, not just to Precious for winning the whole competition, but a very successful season, I would have to say. You just have to go online to see how wide the impact really has been for this whole competition.
That's right. Congratulations. Can you tell us so far, pagkatapos yung manalo, after season 1, marami na bang nagbago? Kamusta yung experience after the competition? Maybe I can start with Precious.
Hi, hello. Yes, sobrang dami na pong nagbago. I'm getting a lot of opportunities now, a lot of messages and invitations po. Tsaka ang maganda rin po kasi dyan, hindi lang naman po ako yung tinangkilik ng mga tao, kundi ayan, kami po ni Lady Morgana and the rest of the girls. Kaya I'm very, very happy po.
Lady Morgana, ikaw, kamusta yung experience after the competition? If I may ask also, what was your favorite challenge? Ayan.
Magandang gabi po sa inyo lahat. And of course, yung favorite challenge ko po is the mini challenge ng yung nag-PE realness kami. That is my favorite challenge na lahat is nag-PE uniform, tapos ako lang na iba as nag-dance sport. Diyos ko. Nakakaloka yun.
Sportswear.
No sportswear attire because ganyan yung university namin. O, di ba? And madaming nagbago sa akin. Daming nag-offer ng mga rackets here in Manila. And of course, meron din sa Davao. Bago na din akong bumalik ng Davao, galing Davao for a homecoming concert.
Mm-hmm. Now, matanong ko lang kayong dalawa. I mean, what are you expecting na maging impact nitong competition na to for the drag industry as a whole? I mean, you guys have been doing this for years. And so, you've been here from the start. How has it evolved throughout the years and how is it now? And how do you see yung competition na to further propelling the whole drag industry?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sa akin po kasi when I was starting sa drag journey ko, medyo challenging po siya kasi syempre hindi naman lahat alam ang ibig sabihin ng drag queens. Kumbaga, yung ibang tao kasi alam nila pag sinabing drag queens, nagpapatawa, nagko-comedy, nagko-host. Pero yeah, dahil nabigyan na tayo ng platform, bigyan tayo ng mga nailagay na tayo sa mainstream, I'm looking forward po na mas marami na ang opportunities namin. Like, lahat na nabibigyan ng opportunity sa iba, ng mga artists, sana may bigay din sa amin kasi deserve din naman po talaga namin yun.
Interesting, kanina sinabi ni Lady Morgana homecoming sa Davao. How big of an industry is drag also in Davao?
Or the community?
The community itself. Oh. And how are you expecting that to grow sa probinsya?
Kasi ang drag scene kasi sa Davao is hindi siya kilala nung hindi pa ako nasali hindi pa na-air ang Drag Race Philippines. Since nabigyan ako pagkakataon na isa sa cast ng season 1, so, ngayon na-embrace na ng mga tao ang drag scene sa Davao and they really appreciate at saka nung umuwi ako, ang daming appreciation and of course gusto ko, yung isa din sa advocacy ko na mabigyan ng pagkakataon ang mga provincial and regional queens na makilala sa buong mundo.
Yan. And speaking of buong mundo, here we go. How are you preparing, Precious, for DragCon in UK? You'll be representing, di ba, us, Philippines.
Ayun po, syempre, I'm so excited and I'm so proud na finally sa DragCon meron ng first Filipino winner ng Drag Race. And ayun po, nag-reach out na po ang mga designers para mabigyan din natin sila ng exposure. Yeah, sana po mas marami pang mabigyan. Sana may kasama ako. Sana si Lady Morgana makasama.
Oo nga eh.
Invite, Precious, our kababayans to support you in whatever way we can. Siyempre, you're performers, di ba? You're also on social media. Go ahead.
Yes, maraming salamat po ulit sa pagsuporta sa Drag Race Philippines. Walang hanggang pasasalamat po. Ito po aming tatanawing utang na loob. And sana kahit tapos na po ang show, sana andyan kayo to support us dahil makikita naman po kami sa mga bars, sa mga brand shows, and sa mga gusto pong magbigay ng opportunity sa amin. Reach out lang po kayo dahil pwede pa namin dali ng drag namin sa lugar ninyo. At sana po marami kaming na-inspire na for me, ang gusto ko lang din patunayan dito is manifestation is real. Minanifest lang din namin to ng mga queens na mangyari siya before. At nangyari naman siya. Sana mas marami pa tayong ma-inspire at sana mas marami pa pong maging supporters ang local drag queens. Dahil talaga namang deserve natin ang spot sa main stage at makilala sa buong mundo.
Yan. Lady Morgana, Miss Congeniality.
Anything to promote?
Yeah. And of course, gaya sabi ni Precious Paula, supportan nyo din kami po. Kahit wala na po ang Drag Race Philippines Season 1. And makikita nyo din kami, of course, sa bars and sa mga drag brunch and sa mga shows, upcoming shows ng mga corporate shows and po mga kaibigan. And please do follow us po sa aming Instagram and Facebook and of course Twitter. Maraming salamat and hello, Daligo!
Yeah, and as Paula would say, good luck at dapat pakak. Tama ba yun?
Yes!
Thank you, and congratulations.
Congratulations.
Tama. Precious, Paula Nicole, and Lady Morgana. Thank you.
And that's the big story tonight. For more updates, follow News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World online. You may also log on to onenews.ph for more in-depth analysis. I'm Jess De Los Santos.
The big story is also available via Signal Play app. Make a free account now at signalplay.com and stream One News anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Stay safe, Philippines.
We are One News, all sides, all the time.